Hey, my name is Marek. I'm a business owner and entrepreneur, and today you're listening to the Business Bosses podcast. Let's dive into our content for today. All right, let's go. Let's go. This is your podcast. This is the Business Bosses podcast. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Look at this, man. Look at this professional setup. We get the mug, we get a mic. It's all good. Oh my goodness, I love this. This is what we call high production. This is what I call high production, and I'm very excited about it. We got the light. Oh, you know the deal. You know the deal. I'm so excited for this. It's interesting to see because if I look at myself, I get so fed up. I get so excited. Whether if I just, put my camera or my phone, make a selfie, which can also make me very excited if I do that outside, if I walk, if I do a tour, like the house tour I did on the other day. Check it out there. But, to get the whole setting, get the laptop, get the camera right, get the mug right, get the microphone right, get the light right, to get that set up, it fires me up. So I'm very, very excited for that. So today I want to share with you about my progress for what I've been doing yesterday and what I'm going to do today. So I have to be honest with you, because I always like to be honest. But here's the thing. So yesterday I read a newsline of some crypto guy. He acquired a company, crypto trading exchange, with another guy in the crypto space, FTX. And he announced that Justin Sun from Tron and all these projects, he's gonna acquire Huobi, which I don't know if that's true, that's confirmed, but at least the market seems to like it, and the coin of the Huobi exchange is pumping right now. And so, long story short, I saw that headline and I saw the guy from FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and that guy, he's the same age as I am. He's maybe 6 months older than I am. And that guy is a freaking billionaire. And immediately the thought came into my mind, like, what am I doing wrong? I felt miserable at that time. I was comparing myself with him, and I thought, that guy is 30, and he's a freaking billionaire. I've been in crypto space since 2013. I've been in 9 years in that crypto space. So what am I doing wrong? Like, I could have been that guy, basically. And so I was comparing myself, and I immediately felt miserable. And I started writing about, where that came from and, what to do about it, especially to get out of it, right? Because I don't want to, feel miserable all the time, and it can affect my whole day. So I was trying to snap out of it. And so I realized that I'm just not happy at playing small. And for the last, I think for the last 9 months, I've been playing very, very small. And some people would say that if they look at my life from the outside, like people would say that I'm playing big, So my point here is that there's always someone bigger than I am. There's always someone that's, doing better than I am. And same for you, right? It's always, you can always compare yourself to someone who's doing better, and that will make you feel miserable. And so instead of that, I was, realizing for myself that I need to compare myself, with my past self. What did I do? And how far did I go and how far I am right now, right? And actually, that's a great accomplishment. It's not to brag something about it, but it's something I can be proud of myself. And so when I did that, I immediately felt more calm and I felt more happy and content with myself. And the next thing I asked myself, like, okay, where do I actually want to go in life? Like, what's the main driver of my life? And I realized, like, okay, maybe I'm playing too small right now and I want to play big. I want to, have bigger goals. I want to be the number one in my space, in what I'm doing. I want to say to myself, okay, hey, now you're playing your A game. And so a couple of months ago, I read this book from Grant Cardone. And for those who don't know who Grant Cardone is, he's like a sales guy and a marketing guy, and he owns a couple of billion worth of real estate. But so Grant Cardone, he wrote this book, 10x Rule. And if you haven't read it, it's about, basically the principle is about how you 10x your life. I read that book and it spoke to me in many ways, that when I'm setting goals, I usually set like goals that are too small, that are like, okay, let's go from 5,000 a month to 10,000 a month. And the 10x rules basically says, no, you not go from 5,000 to 10, you multiply that number by 10, whatever that number is, right? And so instead of going from 5,000 for 5,000 a month, you go to 50,000 a month. And I did that for my own personal income. I did the math, we're doing about 15,000 a month in profit right now, every month with a social media company. And I was thinking, like, if I just can 10x that number to do 150,000 a month, what would that take? What do I need to do in order to get that number? And you see, when I multiply that number, that creates a whole different set of problems. Because now I need to think about, how do I go from 15,000 a month to 150,000 a month? You see, the problems become different. And, why do I want to do that? Why do I want to, put that pressure on myself? Because, I believe, and that's also in the 10x rule of the book. I highly recommend you read it. It gets you out of that little thinking, and it doesn't matter your problems that you have. The amount of effort you put into that is the same. Whether you scale from 5,000 to 10,000 or 5,000 to 50,000, the amount of effort is the same. So why not think big, right? That's the whole concept about the 10x rule. It's like you already have problems. You already have problems facing your business, your career, your life, your marriage. So why not make those problems bigger? Because it's the same effort you put into it, right? So that's why I thought like, okay, I need to do that. I need to 10x my business. I need to 10x my life. Why? Because it gets me out of this little thinking. It helps me stop focusing on little movements in the markets, which I'm doing daily, right? I'm checking my phone every day, like TradingView. It's like, hey, okay, what's crypto gonna do? What's the stock market gonna do? And it helps me stop focusing on those little movements, right? Investing in risky dividend stocks. I like to invest in dividend stocks just for income. I still do that. But if I focus on the 10x, what I'm gonna do, like 150,000 a month, it helps me focus less or stop focusing on those basically risky dividend stocks. Some of them are actually very risky. I know because the market is not right there now, even though they provide me great return. But I know also that it's a risky move because these companies might go bankrupt. Interest rates are rising right now in the market, so that puts another risk on the stock market. And so maybe they pay little to no money in the end. I've been going on my mouth already 2 times with some certain dividend stock that I thought had huge potential, which they had and they basically still have. But then I got screwed over. They had to file bankruptcy, and so why not? I mean, that could happen again, right? So everybody that says investing in the stock market it's not very risky, you should think about it. Yeah, of course, if you invest in Apple or like the big stocks, it's not a big risk, or it's a less risk, even though there's still risk, but the reward is also lower. So think about that, and that's why I believe investing in you Inc., in your personal brand and your own private equity. And I made another video on that, which I link here here below, or here in the top, here, right here. I link it there. It's about, I like to invest in private equity. So I have a bunch of cash now sitting in my business, and I'm going to think about, okay, how I'm going to invest that into private equity business, not into the stock market, because the stock market is it's compared to the reward, the risk is too high. I won't say that risk is higher than private equity, but compared to the reward, it's not so high. So like I said, it's helped me stop focusing on these little movements, because on the stock market to go 10x or 100x, it's very unlikely. Of course, there are examples out there. It's just more unlikely in the stocks that I invest in the REIT stocks, in the dividend stocks, in the oil companies. It's less likely for those stocks to go 10x or 100x in 2 to 5 years than compared to the private equity I'm going to invest in, right? So that's why. It also helps me stop focusing on other nonsense, just nonsense, BS that has nothing to do with my goal. And instead of, what it stops focusing me on, it's the 10x, my income, my life. It helps me start focusing on new amazing opportunities that I previously didn't see or didn't notice. But I know they're out there. There are tons of opportunities in the business world out there. It's just it takes different mindset. It takes different lens to to see them. Basically, I bought this lens a couple of days ago, and the way I'm filming right now, it's completely different. There's a different way of you seeing me now, right? The background is a bit blurry. This one is a bit blurry. It's much wider, so it's pretty cool, right? But it took a different lens to see that. The space here was already there. It's just a different lens to see that. So yeah, 10x it's just a different lens. And it helped me also start focusing on other big things in my life. So for example, my marriage, my relationship. If I want to 10x my business, then it helps me focus on not only my business, but also on my marriage. How I'm going to 10x my marriage. How I'm going to 10x my relationship. That helped me get to that goal. How am I going to 10x my health? Because I need to, be healthy for that. I need to work on myself, right? Personal development, reading books. How am I going to do that? So yeah, that's like a big thing. So for me, a way forward would be to acquire either more companies or offer more products to my existing customers, which I'm going to do the second one first. I'm going to see like, okay, what value can I add to my current customer base? I've been thinking about a couple of things for my social media business. We've been mostly helping people grow their social media, grow their engagement. But another opportunity for me is like, okay, maybe I can help them with managing their accounts, or maybe I can help them with creating content or videos, posts, right? Like these are all kinds of things, or creating strategies. These are all kinds of things that I could still offer to my customer base. And yesterday, I talked about, that I can also make a course for YouTubers. I built some knowledge on how to do YouTube. A couple of my videos went semi-viral, so I have this knowledge, I have this experience, I know how to edit, I know what to look for in building an audience. So yeah, that's another way. And so this is the last thing. So this morning when I was taking a shower, I was thinking, how am I gonna hold myself accountable for this? Well, one way to do that is make a public declaration, which I did right now, right? I'm going to 10x my business. This is a public declaration to you, the watcher, the viewer, and to myself, because if I'm going to post it out there to my listeners, then if I look back to it, I'm like, okay, I made that declaration, so I should keep my word, right? I'm very faithful to my word. If I say something, I need to do it. Sometimes even to the negative effect, but that's a whole other story. But here's the trick. The trick for me is, so as you know, I'm a Christian, right? And for me to make this commitment, I not only make this commitment to myself or to my viewers or to my listeners, no, I'm also making this commitment to my God, to God. And I'm praying for it. I'm praying like, okay, God, do you want to be my accountability partner? And he's happy to do that. I'm so excited for that. And I also know that, okay, if it's not what I should do, then please guide me. Please tell me, or shut the doors for me, or make clear in some way that this is not the right way I should be on. And I know he will. I know God will do that in my life. The scary thing is that I don't hear anything. That's the scary thing. It's like, okay, I'm just continuing, and nothing crazy happens. I'm just getting close to my goal, and that's actually a good thing, right? But it's also like, okay, I'm gonna question myself. Am I on the right path? Because it's gonna be hard, right? It's gonna have certain set of problems that I have to push through. And so that's another point that I want to bring up is that, when things get hard, am I gonna ask myself, okay, is this a sign that I should stop or that I should push harder, right? And I was watching another video from one of internet marketing gurus, Anik Singhal, and he talked about push and pull. That sometimes we have goals that will pull us, and sometimes we have goals that we need to push. And so, which one are we gonna choose? Which one do I gonna choose? And it's much easier to choose the pull goals because it's almost like a magnet. You're being gravitated towards the pull goal. It's much easier, it's more fun, it's more interesting, it's more rewarding. Instead of sometimes, we have this goal that we need to push, we get no's after no's and we get doors slammed in our front of our face. But we keep pushing because we think that it's valuable. We think that we have this spirit in ourselves that, if I push hard enough, then I will get it. Eventually I will get it. But sometimes it just means no. Not now, it's not your time, or no, this is not your way, this is not your path. And for me, entrepreneurship has always been like a pull goal. I always gravitated towards it. Whether if I, was still in a job working, I was always still thinking about entrepreneurial things. When I was working my jobs, like, okay, how could this business, how could this shop, whatever, how can they improve their experience for their customers? How can they generate more revenue? I was always thinking about that and learning as well, right? At every grocery store you have, at the cashier, you have these whole racks of candies, magazines, grabbable items that you can grab just like at the last moment decision just before you check out, right? This is like a great way to get some extra revenue. And so, those are kind of things that I was learning while I was in the job. It's like, okay, I can see how this works out. So, when I started out as a trader, as a day trader, I was very, very much pushing before to get a blog, get a web blog about health, about personal development, and I wrote an ebook even. I was really pushing hard on that goal. But after 5 months, I looked at my analytics and maybe I got like 5 or 10 visitors a day. It's like, of course, it's more than zero, right? But it was not substantial for me enough to generate income. I wrote the ebook and I put some people to the page, some traffic. No one bought it. No one even bothered, getting the free 3 first chapters that I set out for the ebook. So no one really bothered about it. And I was really, really pushing on that goal. I draw a picture of a guy that was pushing a gigantic snowball up the hill. I was imagining myself that I was that guy pushing that ball up the hill. Like, and it was really hard. That's how I felt, how I was doing at that time. And then I draw another picture where a guy was running down the hill and the snowball was behind him. It was, pushing him like you see in those cartoon movies, right? It's like running down the hill. And I imagined that, okay, now I'm this guy who's pushing the snowball, trying to push it over the hill. But I want to be that guy that runs down the hill because he gets so motivated, he gets so energized just to run away, right? To like, and not run away from his goals, but just run like towards his goal, being down, being in amazing, lake or whatever it was down the hill, right? And so I imagined that. And then I found trading at that time. And that was me running down the hill because I felt I had a push in my back, even though it was hard, even though it was actually much harder, more intense than what I was doing before. But it was so much more fun. It was so much more fruitful. It was so much more rewarding that I just naturally gravitated towards that. And the same thing happened when I bought my first online business. I set myself out the goal that, okay, by this time, I think it was March 2020, the saving that I have, if it's empty, if it's done, I cannot use any savings anymore. I put everything away in a safe account, and so I couldn't touch it. And so I had to find something that would generate income for me. And then I found this business. Like, I closed the door, but then another door opened. And that's how I found the business. And that's, that has provided me for income so far. So I never had to touch my savings anymore. And so every time I did that, every time I focused on like what's pulling me, I got to grow. And I think that like the whole 10x thing that I'm talking about today is about that, is, focus on what's pulling me. And for me, it's like, generating more income through my social media, through my current business, and to what I'm doing right now, to the podcast and to the channel if you're watching. And also, I have a free ebook. It's called The 12 Principles of Money. It teaches you about how money works and how the wealthy people use money to their advantage so they can generate more money. It's a great book. It's free. You just have to put in your email address and I'll send it straight to your inbox. So check it out below in the link in the description. Hey, and so if there's anything, if you let me know what you think about this whole concept of the 10x movement, is it something that's worth pursuing? And if you have used it in your own life, like, what were your ideas? What are your findings about that? So just let me know in the comments, and I'm definitely reading it. So yeah, I think that's the update for today, and I hope you like it. So hey, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching today, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please give a like to this video, and if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you also turn on the notification bell so you get reminded every time I upload a video.